Hi, my name's Penny and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do another Top 5 Wednesday video. So Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group where every week there is a prompt about your top 5 something. And this week it is top 5 teachers / mentors. And I'm going to be honest, I struggled with this one a bit. I know that a lot of people really like stories with schools in them, and I realized that I don't really read that many of those, and I don't even really read that many with like mentor type characters. Mostly I like stories where the characters are just kind of thrown in the deep end and they have to sink or swim. Anyway, I did come up with 5, so let's talk about them. So number 5 is Quentin from the Magicians series. I think it's in the second book, which I've forgotten what it's called. The Magician's Land? Possibly. So this series is by Grossman, and Quentin is kind of our main character. He's a bit of a disaster. These are kind of like new adult, discovering who you are kind of books. They're a little bit like Harry Potter at university, but he stumbles into Narnia. That's the best description of what happens in these books. But in the second book, Quentin finds his way back to his school, and he ends up being a teacher briefly. And this part of the story is told from another character's perspective, from a student's perspective, and it's really interesting having, for the first book, followed Quentin as a student kind of struggling with learning magic and growing up, and then seeing how he can still be such a complete mess, but student perspective sees him as more like a put together adult. And I think that's quite funny how often the adults that we see as really put together and knowing what they're doing are really still secretly disasters. So number 4 that I'm going to go with is more of a mentor type character, and that is the family ghost from the Galactic Milleu series by Julian May. So this series basically follows a family of people with psychic abilities. They're especially talented in this, and it's kind of at a time when humans are getting to know about the rest of the universe and all these other alien races, and then kind of being judged as to whether they're good enough to join like the universal psychic family. That's a terrible description. But throughout the series there's this Uncle Rogi, I think his name is, and he is essentially immortal because that's one of his powers, is just to never die. And he has this, like, they call him the family ghost, and throughout the series it does reveal who the family ghost really is, but it's basically like this voice or this bodiless being that follows him around and sometimes protects him and helps him or gives him advice. And it's a really cool relationship, but it's also really cool once it's kind of revealed the whole circular story. So then number 3 would be both Tiger and Del from the Tiger and Del series. So this series basically follows Tiger and Del. Tiger is a sword dancer from the southern deserts, and Del is a sword singer from the north. And she comes south seeking vengeance for her family and trying to find her brother after her family was essentially attacked and most of her family killed. And she comes to the south, she gets Tiger to help her, and they basically end up teaching each other about each other's kind of disciplines. Tiger teaches Del a bit about sword dancing, and she teaches him a little bit about magic and sword singing. But also, in the beginning of the books, he's kind of like this womanizer, jerk, sexist idiot. And throughout the series, she teaches him to be more of not a jerk. And it's I think it's a really genuine telling of how someone can change. Like, he doesn't change straight away, he just slowly learns throughout the whole 7 books. There's 7 books in this series. But I do really like the fact that they're both teaching each other. He's a lot older than her, but she definitely teaches him quite a lot. So it's definitely both directions. Okay, so then number 2 would be Elodin from The Name of the Wind. Well, I call him Aladdin. I know in the audiobook they called him Aladdin, which is not that different, but it was enough that when I listened to the audiobook I was like, why are you saying it like that? Which is the problem with weird names in books, is that you just read it whatever way your brain reads it, and it's not always right. But Aladdin, am I even saying it the same as I was before? I don't know. Aladdin is Aladdin. Anyway, he's the naming teacher, and he's pretty much crazy. He does so many crazy things throughout this book. Is he a good teacher? I don't know. The first time Quoth, our main character, meets him, Quoth ends up jumping off a roof to prove to Aladdin that he's teachable. But there are several lessons that get told in detail in this book, and I actually think they were really good, like, philosophy lessons. I don't know that they really helped any of the characters learn naming like he was supposed to be teaching, but I did find the lessons really interesting, and so I think that he would be a... No, I don't think that. I think he's a really interesting character, and I think he adds a lot to this series. This book in particular. I think he's maybe less in the second book. Not that much. Anyway, Aladdin. He's good. I like him. I don't really talk about what this book's about, but everyone knows, right? You know, right? Then number 1 would have to be Giles from the Buffy series. So you might think that's a TV series, but no. It continued from season 8 in comic form. And this is too heavy. One of the bind-ups. So Giles, technically not a teacher, but definitely a mentor. So he's the librarian in the Buffy series, but he's also Buffy's watcher. So he's there to teach her about being a vampire slayer, and just to support her, teach her, work with her. And I think he does a really good job considering what Buffy is like. I also liked how they gave him quite a lot of backstory of his own. And some really interesting stuff happens to him in the comic books. So if you haven't read the comic books, you really should. So those are my top 5 teachers / mentors. If you have made a top 5 Wednesday video for this topic, I'd love to check it out. Please let me know down in the comments. Or if you didn't make a top 5 Wednesday video, then let me know who are your favorite teachers and mentors. As I said, I really struggled with this challenge, so if you have some good suggestions, I would love your recommendations. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are reading some good books, and I will see you next time.